Evening, guys. How are we?
Evening.
How's it going?
It's been a month, hasn't it?
Yep, has been a little while for not for want of trying, that's for certain.
I think we should apologise to the listeners. I think to start with, we've all been very busy. As you'll discover in this episode, we've not a lot of workshop time, but there's a lot of personal life that's gotten in the way this month. So hopefully we can get this sorted and get a bit more regular after this month. But how are we feeling with the weather? Are we enjoying the heat?
It's a little bit warm. To be one of the reasons I was away for one of the weeks, I was actually on holiday for a week and I went to Morocco's and it was like 35 out there. So to be honest, I'm quite chilly here at the moment.
Morocco. I've always fancied Morocco. How is it over there? Is it nice?
I only went to the Marrakesh part, so not Casablanca, but by the coast, unfortunately. So it's a centre, but it was a mental place. It was just like the maddest market you could ever imagine, and it's just like in I don't know, where you think like Egypt, where everyone just jumps on you. They're selling everything they can. I couldn't see any wood anywhere, which was a bit disappointing. But it was a mad old place. But it was warm. I think it was actually when I came back. That was just before this hot weather started because I got off the plane and it was peeing down the rain and freezing cold. So it was literally must have been a couple of weeks ago because this warm weather's been the last couple of weeks. But it's all good.
I managed to pick up a cold in the peeing rain, as you do. I was collapsing. We were at an event down in Poole, and I was loading the van in the pouring rain and drove home in absolutely soaked. And obviously, following Monday, I decided that after an hour in the workshop, I wasn't well enough. Spent 3 days off, which is unlike me, but spent 3 days curled up on the sofa, binge watching various rubbish.
YouTube videos about wood or not?
No. I binge watched that Department Q TV show. That's very good. Highly recommend that. But no, I don't often do it. I might come down with a head cold for a couple of days and I'll just carry on through it. But the sofa cooled and I did nothing for 3 days.
I actually did notice you've been out and about the weekend through various posts and whatever.
I've been really bad with my posting as well. Social media has sort of gone down the toilet. My own personal social media. Not really. I don't know if I just can't be bothered with it.
You know what? I think every now and again, I think that happens, right? You're just so mindset in filming and getting stuff up there thinking I want to put it up on a regular basis. And then something might come along that sort of breaks that routine. And in a way, sometimes it can be quite liberating where you think, do you know what? I ain't even been on there or done nothing for like 4 or 5 days. And it's actually quite nice.
No, I completely agree. It's nice to turn something that you want to turn rather than something to film.
I've got 4 videos. It's nice to have that break. Social media sort of runs everyone's lives these days, doesn't it? But I've got 4 videos waiting to edit. They were all recorded before March. I just haven't done them. No. And I haven't posted anything really this month. And I went over 2,000 followers on Instagram. People are still following me.
I was thinking like the people like David that are doing it week in, week out. They've done it for years. I've just hats off to them because it's just so hard.
If you look at your Facebook, you're doing it day in, day out.
I'm not doing it, am I?
No, you have
staff for that.
There's no way I'd have the time to do all that.
No, you both have full-time jobs as well. So there's the commitment for your own full-time jobs. This is my full-time job. And I cannot. The other thing, of course, from my point of view, I'm doing a lot of the same things. There's a lot of lace bobbins. There's a lot of crochet hooks. This week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've produced nearly 50 crochet hooks. Yeah. But there's no content. I don't feel there's any content in that. They're not flash, not fancy. They're just what I do for a living. So I don't think anyone really needs to see that.
Some people would find that interesting.
But I think if you've done it before, same as me, you've done it before. And it's like, I don't want to keep putting that up on my feed. I literally done one yesterday. So I videoed one yesterday, but I just done a quick and dirty one because I was doing it. Some woman wanted one and I just done it so I could send it to her. And I thought, I'm not. And I just done it, literally had the camera on it, done it all, got it in, done her like 25 times, cut out a couple of bits, took me about 2 minutes and then sent it to her and go, oh, you're probably interested in this. So I'm the same. Because I've put crochet hook stuff on there in the past, I wouldn't just keep doing it because it's almost like the same old shit. So
yeah, like once every quarter or something, because you just never know what's going to hit and what doesn't.
True.
I came up with the idea that I would do a video, a new album on YouTube, which is unedited lace bobbins because they don't take long.
Mm.
So the videos are less than 15 minutes anyway. So I didn't really, and I'd do a whole series on how I turn each one of my styles. I recorded 2 of them and couldn't be bothered. The rest sounds really lazy. I just can't. I've lost the motivation. I think that's. I just need to find that motivation again.
I think I have a little bit too. I have to really be in the mood to edit because that's a lot. It takes a lot of time.
And it
I think this time of year don't help either. Almost subconsciously, when it's warm and whatever, you feel like you should be having some bit of fresh air, maybe, or whatever it is. It's just, I definitely think this time of year isn't good for the mind to just be sitting in front of screens and stuff.
No, when you look out the window and it's 30 degrees Celsius and beautiful blue skies, and you think, I could just have my feet in a swimming pool, sat out in the garden, book in hand or whatever, and just sit, chill in the garden. Again, especially if you've done a day's work in your day job, last thing you want to do is come home from that and jump straight in front of a computer screen and edit stuff.
No, but I guess everyone's like that because my views on YouTube aren't good. The last one I put up on YouTube has died. I don't think it's even reached 1,500 views yet. That's been up for 6 weeks, and it's kind of just soul destroying. I'm not going to bother, but I need to bother.
One part of you saying you need to put video content out regularly. The other one's going, I just can't be bothered with this shit at the moment.
It's almost impossible to do it. It's really hard to do it. And that's what I say is hats off to people like David. I don't know. Well, I guess he's got quite a backlog, so he can have a break.
To your point, you were saying about, it's worth putting something up maybe once a quarter or something like that of a similar thing. But when you think about it, on some of your stuff, it's actually republishing something that was literally republishing that thing again. It's not like you've turned another vase of the same thing. You're putting that up. It's literally doing that same one. And like I say, that time you're potentially going to catch a bunch of different people. So, yeah, it's a good shout, actually.
That last one on YouTube did almost nothing. On Facebook, it's gone absolutely berserk.
Was that chunky vase you did?
No, the candle one.
Sorry,
did absolutely nothing. And chunky I wasn't expecting anything like huge, that's for certain, but I was expecting more.
Literally 1,500 views on YouTube.
Probably not.
How many followers do you have on there? 100,000?
Not on YouTube, only 13,000.
Still only 10% of your followers actually bothered to watch that video.
It hasn't done well. I released it probably about a week ago on Facebook, and it went nuts.
My last short on YouTube, which was a couple of days before a couple of days after we last released the podcast, has done 1,200. So it's about right.
I'll tell you the most annoying thing that's happened to me in the last few weeks, other than not getting in the workshop. The few times I went in the workshop, I was in there turning, and you get obviously the odd little bug in there flying around. I saw these things probably about an inch long. It's got wings, but it doesn't fly loads. Got the old antennas and all that, and I thought, sort of splattered them, a few of them. And then I'd gone back in. Some more of them things. They must have, I don't know, moved in and be mating anything. Because when I went in there, I hadn't been in there when I had a dog. I hadn't been in there for about 5 days or something like that. I went in and I thought, oh my God, and I moved this toolbox, the floor, and underneath it, they're all just going around and they're on top of each other, having it way. So they're obviously just mating and just multiplying. And
do you know what they are?
No, don't.
You'd do a Google image search. Ask. All right, guys, what are you? You're going to be logical.
No, not ask them, cast them.
All right. I'll have to get the moisture out of them by stamping on them or something like that. But funny enough, I've got something I turned. It's like I've never finished it. A little body with a head, and I'm literally just using that as a nice sort of flat surface to stomp them. And then I'm leaving something out of the way that's on a shelf along the edge of the windowsill. And then they all seem to like the dark or something, and then they're all behind there. Literally, I must have done. And then last night, I was turning a crochet hook last night, and then one's landing on my head and all that. I'm thinking, oh my God. And then you look around, I couldn't see any. And then all of a sudden you see one that's just trying to hit it and whatever. So I don't know. I'm hoping that it drops off fairly sharpish and it's just going to get worse.
They're not what came out of the oak bowl, is it?
No, they're like about an inch long. They're weird. But,
I did turn an egg over the last month because I just had a couple of hours and it was already cast and it'd been sitting there for months, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go in there and do something normal. And I really enjoyed it. Put the music on, and I need to do more of that, to be honest.
Do your eggs sell very well?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, most of them have. I've got 1, 2 left. So, yeah, they do.
Do you sell them as, like, I don't know, do you say they're a paperweight, or do you say anything what they actually are?
No, I just say it's an egg.
Giant butt plug.
Nice. I lied, actually. I forgot. I started something before I went on holiday, and then I did actually finish that when I come back. It was just before I got the dog, and I've been trying it for ages. I'd seen this guy who I got it was actually a chopping board mould off, and he does, I don't know if you've seen them before, like little 2D laser cuts them, little scuba divers, little 2D ones. And I've seen where people do them they've done it in a like a chopping board. So it was a chopping board shaped like the square like that with the whale tail as the handle. And then you just sort of strip of resin, so you would sort of separated. So they had like blue bit, and they'd put a couple of these little scuba divers in the resin, right? So it's going across. So I got some of those off of him, and I've been meaning for ages to try and thinking I'll turn something with a bit of wood. And I had like an old, it was like a little bit like a bird, but it had a hole right through it. It's almost like it'd been cut off the front of a tree. When you see a tree's got an arsehole, it's literally like a hole. And so it cut off, and I thought that would sit lovely in the bottom, pour the sort of blue resin in it, and then the light would shine up through the bottom and almost have the scuba diver coming out the hole. And then I put another bit of burr on the top in the mould. And it was really tricky to get the scuba diver in the right place, because you've got to obviously get that resin so he's not going to sink, but not. And then when you're putting in a pressure pot, it could move him and all that sort of stuff. So it was all a little bit hit and miss. And in the end, he didn't quite come out in the right place. He was a little bit low, but you can sort of see. And then it's a bit hard, but he's in there somewhere. And it's the basis of an idea that could work, right? Yeah. And because it's got the light at the bottom, and then like on Amazon, you can just buy those wooden bases with the LEDs. So just see it on that, and it sort of shines up, and it is effective. But it's all, I think I worked out that there's too much wood in it to be able to sort of show off the resin and the diver, because it sort of comes down the front. But it's a
bit of a cave diver, isn't he?
Exactly. So it's a little bit of a work in progress, or a stepping stone to maybe something that would work. So I got another mould off the guy the other day, so I said, I'll chuck some more divers in. So I've got some more to muck about with, practicing and shit like that.
I think on the last one I mentioned I was doing something with a Valentine's thing, a Valentine's vase. I have done the outside of it. He's shaped, and I would show you. But actually, I think it's going to come out pretty cool, if I'm honest. It's on the steady rest, so I can't take it off. But I'm doing the inside project for this week. I've actually got a couple of days off tomorrow. Nice. Just fancy the weather's out, so fancy a couple of days off. So we'll see if I can get that to almost to polishing at least over the next few days.
What I can't remember what colour petals and that was it? Was it
red? Actually, Forest found them. I know you can buy like thousands of these like synthetic petal things.
Oh, that's right, because they're not real, are they? That's right.
No, so throw them and press them down in a vase mould and not cast over the top of them. I reckon that's going to come out. Quite nice.
And what is it, a vase? Did you say, as opposed to?
Yeah, it's not a vase, but it's smaller than my normal vase. I thought at the time that'd just be easier to do. It's not. It doesn't make any difference. It should have just gone big.
So, where you'll sort of break the surface and you'll, I don't know, have to use UV resin or lacquer over the top of it to seal.
Yeah, I've already put. It's only a few patches in all fairness, but it's already had a UV coat on the few little voids in it.
Oh, that's what I keep meaning to do. Ask you to. You might have done this already. I don't know, but share us a link to that. You got that UV light off Amazon, didn't you? And you said it's really good. Share us a link with it when you get a chance at some point.
No problem.
Always handy to have a decent one. I've got a couple of different ones, but your one seemed really powerful.
He's excellent. 100 watts. It's like.
So the UV resin that you both use, I assume, Will, yours comes from your sponsor.
Actually, it doesn't.
Do you buy? I bought some, and it was. I think it's more modelling UV resin. Is there a difference? Is that what you guys use? Little tub of it and then little black tub and it's just clear or that sort of. You can buy UV resin for the 3D printers. The resin printers use UV setting resin. And I didn't know if you guys used that or had any experience with using that, but in a wood turning project, because you can get that in all sorts of colours.
Oh, really?
And they come in water bottle size bottles. So a litre or 2 litre, well, not 2 litres, but there'll be a litre, I think. I don't know how expensive they are. Let me have a quick look, see what.
I got mine off Amazon. It was just like one of the ones where you get like 3 of those bottles, about 400 ml I reckon, and the little nozzles on them or whatever. But one of the things I'm always wary of is about how deep you go with it, and does it set it all the way through? When you're doing your stuff, Will, you're just doing it on that surface to sort of like fill those. So you're talking, I don't know, 5 mil max depth for you.
Yeah, probably. You can pour it as deep as you like, as long as you can get the light into it to set it.
Even so, as long as it can actually get through to the bottom of what you poured, right? Yeah, because I've done that with the black one in that Lego thing, and in the bottom of a probably, I don't know, 80 mil hole, which was probably 20 mil wide, and that didn't. Even though I thought I'd put the UV light down the hole, it obviously didn't do it, because when I turned it from the bottom, it was all pissing out everywhere.
It doesn't matter what. Right, so this is Anycubic resin. So they do tougher.
That's all UV, is it?
This is all UV resin because it's designed for UV printers, 3D printers. So the idea is that it will print. You've got greens, reds, blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 colours there.
When I've done my UV, I'll just put mica powder in it when I try to colour it black.
Did that work?
Well, that's what I put in the Lego, just everywhere. I thought it's because I didn't get the UV. In the day, you could easily do a test. As long as you've got a patch that you can get a light on, you'll know if it's the actual adding the mica powder to it, as opposed to not getting the light on it. I suppose you could do an easy test.
So if you put the mica powder in there, then it's going to restrict the light, isn't it?
That one's translucent. It's translucent blue, and that's 21.50 for a kilo.
That's probably worth a go.
So,
what I don't understand. So, if it's used for 3D printers, right? Where's it? How's it drying with a UV light? What am I missing?
So they print on the top, don't they? So it works the other way around to how you think.
So a 3D printer. Let's just grab that bit there is the build plate. And the model builds up from there. Yeah. With a resin printer, they
show me way round in it, and then they start curing.
That's the build plate. And what happens? That's a vat of resin at the bottom. Yeah. Underneath that is an LCD screen, and then under that is a powerful UV light. And the pixels of an LCD screen open, let the UV light through, and that's what does the layer. Each layer at a time. And then this build plate goes up. The whole motion, it dips down slightly, prints a layer, then lifts up, let the resin sink, and then dips back down, prints the next layer.
Oh, and it sets each layer.
It sets one layer at a time.
Oh, okay.
And each layer can be 0.6, 0.4 of a millimetre thick. And they are designed, that's a better picture, you can see how it's been built upside down. These resin printed like much bigger industrial size, rather than using their metal figures. Yeah, it's really for model makers. There you go. So you can see the vat of resin being poured in. And they're a much cleaner print. But once you've finished printing, you have to wash and cure it. And they're washed in acetone, sorry. And at the back there, all those little dots is a bank of UV lights. And you've got a power, and it sort of swirls all the tone around, and the UV lights. I'm pointing at a computer screen and you can't see what I'm doing. I'm gesturing at my screen thinking you can see it. So it swirls the acetone around, and the powerful UV lights then solidify the model.
It's already part solidified when it comes off the other thing though, right? Because it's each layer as it goes, but that's like a final getting it all round, it all finishing.
That makes it rock hard. So they're much cleaner, much more efficient printer. And they use a resin rather than. The downside to them is they are only resin, whereas filament printers can use all sorts of different materials. What I've made is with PLA, but you can use ABS or more flexible rubbers and plastics and things.
Yeah.
So people are starting to print things like Crocs and sandals, because you can buy filaments that are So things like PETG is more flexible, ABS, and you can get much more different effects and things with it. So, but I've considered these resin printers, but I don't think I'd get the right use out of them. No. But from a wood turning point of view, it's the UV resin interests me for doing crack filling rather than waiting 24 hours for normal resin to cure. Dogs having zoomies.
But you don't need that resin to do that. You can use that on that UV resin that we already use, though, right?
I was just thinking the colours. I'm just looking because I knew you could get this in different colours. Whether that would
UV resin just with like dye.
Because when you get normal, you couldn't easily mix. I wouldn't have thought things like the alcohol stains. Yeah. Can you? Does that not affect the setting of it?
Not really, unless it's really dark. Unless you go like massively over the top. But
I might get some of that because it's not expensive, and give it a go. Because I've got loads that need crack filling.
Grab some. I bottle, and that's why I don't get it from Let's Resin. I've never even asked them for it. And I know they do hard and soft UV resin. I was just buying normal plain old Amazon stuff, and it lasts me like 6 months.
Yeah, I had 3 bottles.
It's only filling like a tiny little block just in the surface.
I have used that. I just didn't know if the stuff you got was different. And I think we probably bought the same stuff from Amazon.
But the light is definitely a game changer. That is for certain. That light that I bought is just brilliant. So it just goes rock hard.
That's the key thing, I think. That's what I'm saying. Send us a link to it because if you're setting it, you ultimately you want it to set quickly, right? And the more powerful light you got, then you're going to get that done, which is the main thing. What it's all about. And then you're sort of pretty much then if you just use the A glue in it for some fill-ins and then just sort of spray that with the activator, then you're up and running again straight away.
Because the other thing I looked at for some of the slightly bigger cracks to get it done a bit quicker was getting some of that Milliput stuff.
I've got the only thing with the Milliput is it goes off. I give it 6 months and it's gone.
You can put it in the microwave.
Oh, really?
Just give it a little blitz in there and it softens it up a bit.
Oh, I've not tried Milliput.
It's all right. I just think sometimes I find it weird how limited they are on their colours because they've got probably 5 or 6 colours now. That's it.
So you can't just get a plain stuff and add mica powder to that.
I would say
you can, but it doesn't sort of take it very well. I've done it in the past. So you get like black or white. There's like a dirty yellow colour. There's like a terracotta, pretty horrible blue, to be honest, as well. I think there's one other I can't remember, but even like if you take the white silver grey, if you take the white and sort of just keep applying in the sort of powder, it doesn't suit it very well. The one thing I did do was try to make sort of stripes in it. So get different bits of it, put some colour in it, and then almost plait them together and then push them into something. So then you may get that higher effect with sort of, say, if you've done it black with orangey sort of bits. It'll colour it a bit, the powders. But I don't think the finish of it, unless you obviously lacquer it, I suppose, I don't think the actual finish of it is really nice either.
All right. Apparently the different colours are actually meant for different applications. Apparently. I'm on their website.
If you want to put it in a terracotta pot, use terracotta. Well done. Thanks for that.
I've emailed you that lamp, Gary.
Oh, nice one.
But he's really good.
Okay.
I should have bought one years ago.
On the subject of recent purchases, how is that right angle drill? Have you had much chance to use that yet?
No, but when I do, I'm quite glad that I've got it. I've started using it for sanding, which I was always sanding by hand, but actually I find myself going to that right angle drill much more often. So even when I did that egg the other day, I actually used it on that. I've never done that before. I've always done it by hand. It was like, actually, it's much quicker, to be honest. So
first a normal power drill, couldn't you?
Yeah, I could have done. I think because it's battery powered, it's like a right angle drill. It doesn't get in the way, so it's always on the bench. It's always within reach.
You found it, Gary? Got that light?
Yeah, I've just done it now. In the bag.
Did you order Steve Crouchman's book?
I did. I haven't got it yet.
No, I had a quick look the other day. I was like, where is that book? I ordered it, and it's been released. And they're saying the 27th for physical copies? 25th of July.
It was like ages ago, wasn't it? Well, I thought when we were talking about it last month's club, and it was saying there's a couple of days then.
So, don't know what went on there.
Trying a delay tactic to get the interest up.
Not sure that's going to work. You could order it now, and it says usually dispatched within 2 to 3 days, but it's still going to be free delivery between the 26th and 30th of June if you order it within 11 hours and 11 minutes. But mine still says 25th of July. So,
I've got a little bar that's somewhere between ordered and dispatched.
That's what I've got.
Ain't coming anytime soon.
No. Oh, I'm in no rush for it, let's be honest. I will get him to sign it for me.
If I ever turn up.
But you've got to come to the club first.
Just send it in.
I think the last time I turned up was around Christmas.
We took a photo together, the three of us.
Anyway, how's it all going at a club?
You closed down, mate, didn't you know?
It's good.
I paid the what's name fees the other day.
Oh, you've paid the membership fee, but you're still not turning up.
I paid, yeah. Well, no, I paid the
WGB
because they're on my case. Like, you haven't renewed. I was thinking, I just paid it.
It would only be £1 cheaper if you paid it through the club. The club's meant to keep that £1, so we're still meant to charge members the same amount, but the club get the £1. The way we looked at it, in its height before COVID, I think they were sitting at 35 to 40 members, so it wasn't really worth £1. So we just don't charge the £1. We had Simon last month. He was good. Enjoyed that. He brought his daughter along to man the shop.
Oh, right.
She now works woman the shop. She's learning, but there's a lot to learn, I'd imagine, with his business. And then this month we had Sean Clifford. Discovered that he could push the lathe across the room. Still turning something.
What was he turning?
It started out as a rather large, really manky piece of oak, which you knew before he started turning it was going to be full of character and pippy bits and spalting and all sorts.
Woodworm.
But it was so woodworm. I think there was actually. It was so hard. But the problem was where we have the AV desk, it's at right angles to the lathe. Yeah. As he's pushing the lathe and moving the lathe into the screen, I'm then getting showered with wood chips. And so's the computer and the AV equipment. So he stopped to have a look at it. Me and Steve moved the lathe back and then he'd push it again. And then I said, why don't we put it on the rubber mat that he's standing on? Because then he won't be able to push it off the rubber mat. He's on it as well. And I put my back out, I think, lifting the lathe. I've had proper backache all day today. Yeah. Quite uncomfortable sitting here, actually. And we lifted the lathe to get it on top of the mat.
Yeah, it's quite heavy, that lathe, to be honest.
It's a beast. It was either that lathe or Barry and Louise are running an event next month at Hanningfield for us. And they're borrowing a lathe so they can do demonstrations there. And I just thought, I'll just pick that Axminster. It's only a little tabletop Axminster lathe, similar to one that Gary's got, the little one. I thought, that's not going to be that heavy. Just pick that up and nip it out to their car. Bloody hell, that thing weighed a ton. Heavier than my record power.
Oh, really?
So heavy. So that was one of those two actions put my back out yesterday.
You didn't put a picture of his bowl up, did you, from last night? No. I thought I must have missed it, but no, I couldn't see it on there.
No, it wasn't finished. He didn't have time to finish it.
Oh, didn't he?
No, it was still quite thick at the bottom.
Right.
Where it was so hard, he was having to sharpen his tools every 5 minutes as well, because it was just blunting them. Yeah. It was a really nice piece of oak, and when it's all polished and everything, and he uses Odie's oil as a finish on them, by the time it's all done, it's going to look lovely. But he was talking about his tools he was using while he was there. So I was jotting them down as he was telling us. And you know how Will has no idea of the cost of things because he gets given it. And he's going, oh, yes, no, this tool is by Thompson Lathe Tool. And that was just an insert bowl gouge. No handle. Put it in your own handles. Quick Google of that. £95 for just the tool. It's about Simon Hope-ish, bit more than Simon. And he's going, oh, this scraper is a John Jordan scraper from America, and it's a lovely bit of kit. And I quickly looked that up, and it's a £75 scraper. And he's going, oh, no, and the handle comes from Glazer High Tech in America. I'll have a look at that. What? $255
for a handle.
You can't buy just a handle anymore, so you have to buy it with a tool. So with a bowl gouge, it's $255. That's £190. Flicking through this website. Screw faceplate that you M33 standard lathe fitting, just a standard faceplate that we all use, $265.
No way.
Having a laugh, and 200.
Oh, yes.
It was just a faceplate. It's a normal faceplate.
Is he going over to the States or something with a suitcase though?
No,
did he say?
No.
He shipped over.
No, the handle was given to him.
Oh, right.
The handle, it's a nice handle, to be fair. It's quite long because he does a lot of hollowing, but it's lead shot filled. So it's quite heavy, so it's quite well balanced, but not at that price. But he was the gouge in that handle, when you combine the two, if you wanted to just go out and buy them, you were looking 320 quid the two for a gouge. It's like, wow.
He's insane.
And he's like, oh no, I've just been given them. I've just picked them up over the years. He said, no, this gouge started out at nearly half a metre long. And this thing was now maybe 25, 30 centimetres. So, I've used this for years. So obviously he's picked them up when he's been at events or symposiums or wherever, and got chatting and managed to pick up a sponsorship of one form or another and got one of these fancy tools.
I still can't get over the biggest one. I can't remember. It was one of the guys who'd done a demo, and it was he's got the Easy Wood Tools chuck, which is the one that's like 30-second jaw changing one where
you
they
push a thing in and it springs out, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then just the chuck with one set of jaws on Amazon is like 440 quid. And then if you want to buy another set of jaws, they're like 100 quid. And then the bigger ones are sort of 200 quid. You're thinking, gee, then if you wanted the chuck with a full set of jaws, you're probably talking near enough £1,000.
Axminster now stock them.
Yeah, I saw that. 460 quid.
What, the Easy Wood Tool stuff?
They've got
the chuck as well now.
They've got the import license for them. Hang on, let me share that again.
I'm a pocket, isn't it?
Amazon have got it 470 quid.
There you go, Will.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. I do like the way I'd pay 400 quid for a chuck.
No, and it's on the same page. It's at the bottom of the page. Well, and it's on the same page as their brand new.
I was going to say the chucks are like expensive enough. That's
Discovery there. That doesn't even come with jaws, and that's 200 quid. I grant you, my victory from Record Power was 270 quid. But that came with the VersaChuck system, all the jaws, so all 4 sets of jaws that came with. So that wasn't as steep, but the jaws for that.
I still think the Rutland's chucks are the best value. I got 2 of them, 2 of the 100s. I've got the 200 ones and the 75, because the 100 one is the complete kit with all of the jaws is 215 quid. It's just unbelievable value. And I say that now and again they do their little discount thing. And I think at one point I got one for 150 quid. And then so I could just have a cold jaw set up on one permanently.
There you go. So on the subject of cold jaws, there's the Easy Wood Tools 12-inch, 274 quid. On top of a 470 quid.
I've got an SO10 chuck from Axminster, and it's really nice, and it's stainless and what have you. Never use it.
Don't you?
I haven't used it for years. I just put everything on a glue block. Never use it.
Yeah, it's mad.
Mine's the SK80 chuck from Axminster, and I now use predominantly either the the Victory, or the SK1 or SK4.
What's that? Your Victory, that new one you got? Your birthday or whatever?
That's my birthday present from.
How are you finding that one? All right.
I've got 2 reviews for it. If you don't own a Record Power chuck already, it's a fantastic bit of kit. It's lovely. It's built exactly the same as their SC4 chuck. Absolutely wonderful. Brilliant. And the insert is nice and quick. It's great. I really enjoy using it. I use it a lot. This week, it was the only chuck used for doing the crochet hooks, because if the bit of stock was a bit thicker, I could just quickly nip the inner jaws out and it fits. And it's wonderful. Couldn't fault it. If, on the other hand, you already have a set of SC4 chuck, don't buy the Victory because the SC4 is interchangeable inserts. So you can swap between the different, let's say, I mean, in the workshop, I've got the Axminster and 2 record powers. One record power is an M33. The Axminster is a 1-inch 8 TPI, and my other record power is a 3/4-inch 16 TPI thread. Well, I can move my SC4 to all 3 of those lathes, no problem at all. But the Victory is only M33 because I bought it in the M33 fitting. If you want the best of both worlds, you buy the older SC4 because the VersaChuck jaws fit it. It's the same fitting.
Yeah.
So it's a very good chuck because it's a record power chuck and they're very good. But if I knew it was the same fitting, I wouldn't have bought the chuck. I would have just bought the jaws and saved myself probably 170 quid. Saved my wife 170 quid. Because for me, it's all right. It's nice to have another chuck. That way, at least I can keep on, and I've got a bowl on that one while I've still got a chuck I can use, which is the case at the moment. 3 of my chucks are full. But that's just a bit.
That's why I use the glue blocks. There's like a 25 quid Amazon faceplate glued onto a bit of wood. I've got probably 8 or 9 of them, and can have all those projects sitting there, and they won't move. Don't have to take them out of the chuck and put them back in. If I put them back on the lathe, they're in exactly the same place they was when I took them off. You know,
something I must admit, I didn't say it last night with Sean, but Sean put this massive bit of wood between centres. Didn't use a faceplate, and when he started
the whole time he was turning it.
Well, he turned a chuck mount on it, obviously, as soon as he could. But to start with, it was really unbalanced. And I was like, it was a 4-point drive. Didn't go anywhere.
Sean's the one who's got that scar right around.
Yeah, he's the big left-hander. Yeah. Of course, because he's left-handed, when he's hollowing the bowl out, right, you can see nothing but the back of him because he stands right in front of the cameras because he has to stand the wrong side of the lathe.
Oh, so he actually turns left-handed, does he?
He turns left-handed. Well, you couldn't get the other side of your lathe. There's a wall in the way.
That's true.
But his workshop, they're short bed. So he's not got to walk all the way around the bed of a lathe, which is an advantage for him. He set his workshop up how he needs it. But between centres on this very large, very heavy bit of oak, a few of us sort of, that's a bit, scooch back a bit. Big bit of wood. And then he had Radford help him mount it to the lathe.
Oh, really?
Because he couldn't get the tailstock up and everything centred without Radford holding onto it and giving him a hand. And we didn't start on time either. So normally we like to start turning around 7. We didn't start turning till 20 past because we were just chatting. The whole room was just chatting. It was a good evening. I do respect Sean. I think he's actually a very good turner with what he does. He likes his rustic stuff. He doesn't do anything highly polished and shiny. And he'll get this really manky bit of wood and you'll see the beauty in it. But he prefers his green turning.
I can imagine, yeah.
But we got the extractor out ready for him to do an excessive amount of sanding, like he did last year, and then never touched a sander. He didn't need to sand it. It was perfect off the tool.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, so hats off there.
Didn't need to sand it at all. He could have just thrown some Odie's oil on it, and that was done. But it wasn't thin enough, really. He was going to thin it back out when he got it home. It was a bit of a chunk of that one. But there was no new outstanding techniques. But when you think that there was 3 new turners in the room, brand new techniques are not needed.
No, that's right.
The new guys
go home.
They've got to learn the basics.
Pop up next door's tree and show it between seconds.
They probably walked out there and go, I'm going to try that on my little lumberjack lathe or whatever it is.
Well, one of the guys, he was chatting to me. He said, I've picked up this lathe. Okay, what have you got? I picked up the Record Power Cell 1, which is like mine, but slightly smaller, in 3-phase with a variable speed. What? He said, I was halfway through a project and the variable speed's packed up and it no longer works. I don't know. I'm not sure how you want me to help you there. Talk to Record Power. Well, the lathes are so out of date. Record Power don't want to help. But
did he say how much he paid for it? He might have paid a tenner for it.
not a lot of money I got off it. He said, we found this bargain on eBay. And I'm thinking, there's probably a good reason it's a bargain on eBay, but it's new. That lathe would have been over £1,000, I'd imagine. So he has got a good deal.
In 1965.
No, it's not blue. He said it is green. So that narrows it down to early 2000s. It's still probably a 25-year-old lathe. Just one last quick thing from me, because it's getting on. I still don't have my little record power back.
Oh, really?
No, it's still not fixed.
You sent them the drive card?
No, I haven't sent them anything.
Oh, really?
I'm very loath to send them the machine. I've got to post it to them. That's so heavy. I hate to think how much that would be to ship.
I think you'd be better off just to shove it in your car, wouldn't you? Be cheaper.
How's it going to get fixed then if you haven't? They need it and you ain't sent it to them.
Well, I have finally gotten through to a member of the spares team and said, look, I need a PCB board. How much? 100, and it worked out just over £200, including VAT, PCB board. But for them to look at it, you're going to be looking at another 150 quid plus shipping, both there and back. I'd have to pay for postage there and back.
Have you got the PCB board out?
Yes.
Why do you need to send it?
I don't think I do. I sent the motor off to a local company and they couldn't find a fault with the DC motor. They then suggested it's going to be something like the AC-DC converter within the variable control.
If you get that to me, I'll take it into work and I'll get the electronics guys to buzz it through. They will at least tell you what's wrong with it. And it's quite likely, if it's something simple, they'll just fix it for you. How about that? All right?
I think that's a very sexy deal. Thank you very much.
If you're dicking about with sending the whole lathes up to record power.
They want the motor and the whole head unit. So the whole head unit module.
So get it down to me. I'll give it to the guys. If they fix it, I'll tell them you buy them a crate of beer.
Well, I'll throw you some money and...
You don't have to throw it to me. If you give me beer, I'll drink it.
Buy some resin.
Well, I've got the PCB board out, so I'll package it up and I'll send it to you.
Send it over. One of them was on holiday for 2 weeks at the moment. So
well, I've been without it for 2 months.
No, exactly. And that's what I was going to mention it last time. I thought I'd just let it see how you get on with record power. But as you're struggling, then I can probably help you.
Paul, thank you. And if not, even if they say it's the PCB boards, at least then it confirms.
But they'll repair the tracks in the PCB board. The electronics guys, they're very clever.
They've probably got the parts in already because it's probably
will, depending on what it is. If not,
I'll do that. That's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Right, so offers there. I was going to say it last time, but it sounded like you were getting somewhere with record power. But now you're not. Then
I have the solution. It's just going to cost me £200, and I don't have £200 spare at the moment, unfortunately. So, but I'll stick it in a box. Thank you very much.
Very clever people sitting at work, and they can do that for you.
Well, you're a very clever person sitting there. You helped me with the design work for everything. I couldn't get my head around that, and you just off a day with you, I managed to get it done.
How's that going?
It's all on the website. No one's bought any. I haven't promoted them, and I'm now in two minds. So we had, I don't know how you know Paul and Simon, but Paul's had them ready, and he gave them to people like Tiny Turner. Same basic thing, but they're CNC machined. Well, I spoke to Simon last month when he was with us, and I said, "Oh, you look what I was just sort of showing him off," because he was like, "Oh, what is that you've got?" I said, "Oh, well, this is what it does." And he said, "Oh, I'm just seeing mine now, and they'll be out in a couple of months' time."
Okay, that's but so they'll probably be quite expensive.
Yes, whereas mine are up for £9.50 for the pair. And on the website, they can choose between the headstock and the tailstock, like Gary suggested. So they've got the choice of the 45 and the 60 degrees, all on the website. So
it's one of those things where the right people in the right place at the right time, and they would go mental.
When I do a demo over at, I've got Thames side wanted me to tell them what I was going to be demoing when they first booked me. I was like, I don't know. It's going to be less than 9 months' time. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to be demoing. Well, you need to tell us. Well, I'll do tri-wing stuff. So I'll take them with me, do what Simon does, and say, well, this is what I'm using. And if you want them, they're at the back of the room there. And I'll take the finish with me as well. And this is the finish. That's also at the back of the room. Look, they don't cost me a lot. And
where people don't know, then because it's not one of those things where you'd look at just on its own from a website. if you didn't know what it was and what it could do.
Steve Radford put a post up on one of the UK wood-turning Facebook pages, and he had his my adapters in his pictures.
Yeah.
And I'm following it in the hopes that someone goes, "What are those adapters you've got going on?" Oh, I'll promote it. I just haven't promoted it yet. It goes back to the beginning of the episode of not actually being very good with social media this month.
Was that Woodturning UK? That one. Yeah, there's some funny people on there.
There's a lot of AI.
There's a lot of people on there.
I don't know if you're allowed to advertise. Are you on that one? Don't know. I'd have to read the rules.
There's other ones, UK sales and shit like that as well.
That's true.
But what you need to advertise it on your page. You need to get someone to share it who's not a member of the what's that, and then it will be all right.
Try and get there before Simon.
Just create a fake Facebook account. I've got one.
James, how old are you? Are you old enough for Facebook yet?
Of course he is. He can talk.
He doesn't have to be real.
No.
My son's loitering in the kitchen. I think with intent. I think he wants ice cream.
Well, that's a good timing to end up then, so he can go and have his ice cream.
He can indeed. Well, great catching up again, boys. Thanks for jumping back on the mics. That was episode 21. So
very good.
Nice. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Bye.